Okay, so I did get everything off the frame, mostly everything, and it's ready to be stripped. I got my quick strip paint stripper here. It says it works on wood, metal, and masonry. I did test it a little bit right here yesterday, and it kind of was coming off. So hopefully this one bottle will do the whole frame. I really don't have to buy anymore. It's kind of expensive for what it is, but I do get my brush right here. I'm just gonna gently brush it, I guess, everywhere. And hopefully, I'm gonna obviously let it sit pretty much all day. I have a busy day today. I have to be a lot of places later on. I'm actually doing this on my lunch break, so I'm gonna let this sit. I do need to peel these stickers off. I'll do that later. But yeah, I'll get my pressure washer after it's been sitting, and hopefully if I get real close to it, it'll take it all off. So that's hopefully what will happen. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour a little bit of my brush, and I'll start applying it to the frame. Probably drizzle it like this. I think I need to do it thick because I did test a little bit right here and it wasn't easily coming up, so I think thick is the way to go with this stuff. The last stuff I used a few years ago when I was stripping my RM250 frame, or a 125 frame, was it was pretty good. I think it was a little bit thinner and it was more of a spray on, but hopefully this works just as good. This is like all Ace Hardware had, so really not trying to go and shop a bunch of stores right now. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect in the areas that aren't going to be seen, like down here, and this will never be seen. But you know, I want to do the best job that I can, just because I want to see a really nice frame before I put it all back together, and I want it to last a long time. Like I could have got it not bed lined, powder coated, but it was like $300 to do it, and it's just not worth that right now. I think painting it will be fine if I do a good job on it. I got primer and all that. I'll use some adhesive too on the sketchy areas. This right up here in the front is definitely going to be seen, like right here. Someone already kind of spray painted over the original paint. Unfortunately, they painted the wheels and they just did not do a good job. I don't know why they did that. So that top coat, that top black coat right there that they sprayed will come off easily. I just don't know if the coat underneath, the original paint will come off easily. I really hope so though, because I don't want to sit here and sand this thing down. So yeah, it's definitely coming off right here. Like I said, that spray paint they used, that coat will come off nicely. It's just this thick factory paint that I'm really worried about. Alright, that's a good first coat. It's probably going to take like, wow, that is going to rain, huh? That was not on the radar. But anyway, it'll probably take at least 3 coats. I'm going to sand it too. I want to get it as flat as possible down to bare metal. That way the paint job looks good and it'll hold up nicely. But I'm going to let this sit, and hopefully it eats up that paint good. Okay, I have not started this pressure washer in about a year, so I don't know if it'll start. It hasn't been used much in its life. Well, it has been actually, but it just doesn't get used often. And when it does get used, it gets used like all day kind of thing. So okay, it took some off. A lot of that top coat of that spray paint that whoever painted, that came off. But yeah, the stock paint ain't coming off very good, so I'm probably gonna start sanding next, and then do some more coats of the paint stripper. I guess I'll have to come back and just start sanding the heavy stuff down a little bit. Maybe once it's sanded down a little bit, the paint stripper can do more work. Okay, so like a week and a half later, I've been doing like 5 coats of paint stripper a day, And most of it's pretty much off now. I've pressure washed it a few times. I'm gonna finish up the rest of the bottle, which is like a fifth left, and then I'm gonna pressure wash it one more time, and any excess will be sanded off, and I'll clean it, and I'm gonna start priming and painting it. I have to set up a little paint area, so I'm getting plastic ready. I'm gonna have to use garbage bags and stuff, but it'll be all right. Okay, I got a little rigged up paint booth here so I don't get paint on my house, but 2 weeks later, lots of coats of paint stripper, a lot of sanding, and it's almost perfect. I got it sanded down pretty dang good, so everything's really smooth. There is a little bit of excess old paint, but it's all sanded down really smooth, so I'm not too worried about it for a budget restoration. The ideal thing to do is get it powder coated, but it's a lot more expensive than just sanding it down and painting it. But I'm gonna pressure wash it one more time to get all the dust off, and then I'm gonna primer and paint it. I got all the paint right here, and it's gonna be black, so this thing should look good. I got all the bolts out, so yeah, all I gotta do is pressure wash it one more time. All right, so I'm ready to primer this thing. I got it sanded down as smooth as possible. Not perfect, but you know, it's dang near impossible to get that thing perfect without a sandblaster, so I'm not too worried about it. Whatever the case is, it's gonna look better than what it did. I just gotta figure out the best way to primer this thing. It's been a while since I painted a frame. Shake it up real good. All right, here we go. I'm gonna back up just a little bit, but that looks really good now that it's drying up. So that black is gonna turn out incredible. I think I probably put this on too thick for a first coat, but that first coat really needs to be on there good, so I'll take my chances. Alright, the first coat of primer is on there. It looks really good already. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and I'm going to do another coat. I'll probably end up doing 3 coats. I just realized I missed that whole rail right there, but I'll get it here in a second. But yeah, it's going to look really good, I think. You can see the imperfections, but it'll turn out good. I trust in it. So the paints I'm going to be using today is Rust-Oleum Farm and Implement gray primer. I'm gonna probably do 3 coats of this, and then I'll do 3 coats of the actual paint, gloss black Farm and Implement heavy duty. I figured this would be better than normal paint just because it's farm equipment, or for farm equipment. So that's what I'm using. They were like $9 a can. They were labeled as like 6 or 7. No, it's $5.99, but they charged me for like 9. So I did a total of 3 coats of primer on the whole frame, and then a little extra, just like a few sprays. But this thing looks really good. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. I mean, there you can see imperfections, but honestly, this frame won't ever be clean, you know. Once you take it out riding once, it's gonna get dirty and it won't ever be that clean again. But it's gonna look way better than what it did before, so that's all that matters to me. And then when I bedline the plastics, that's gonna look really good. So we're gonna have a fresh looking bike here. But I'm gonna let this cure overnight. It's not gonna rain or anything, so I don't have anything to worry about. And then tomorrow I'm gonna do the 3 coats of the paint, the black paint. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay, it's the next day. I let my primer cure overnight. It looks really good, so it should hold up good. It's gonna rain, I think, so I'm gonna try to get this done. I'm gonna get my air compressor and my air gun and make sure there's no dust on it, because I did let it sit overnight, so you never know. And then I'll start applying my black paint. So I'm gonna get my air compressor ready. Yeah, painting like this is not ideal on a rainy day, but I have to get this done today. I have been working on it too long. Today is my deadline. But I'm gonna go ahead and spray all the dust off and get started. I hope it doesn't thunderstorm, because if it thunderstorms, it'll be windy. So this thing has already fallen down like 10 times. I know what to do next time when I set this up. Use bungee cords and not crappy blue tape. Let's get started. I did it kind of real thick right here because this is going to be a high wear area. So I did it a little bit thicker right there, but the rest I'm going to kind of do a little bit lighter first coat. So okay, time for my second coat. Do it a little bit thicker than the first one. Okay, the second coat is on. It's looking good. So I'm gonna let this dry for probably an hour and do my final coat. I think the only way to get it really perfect is to strip it and powder coat it. That's the best way to do it, but this was a lot cheaper than getting it powder coated. So it turned out really good for what I paid for it overall. I think I might have had like $75 for all the paint, primer, sandpaper, and paint stripper. So 75 versus 300. So I changed my mind. I am gonna use a clear coat on this thing because it'll look a lot better, and I'd rather have the extra protection. So I want to see what it looks like. Okay, so I did one good coat of clear coat, one thick coat, and it definitely shined it up a little bit. It still hasn't dried completely, and I could make this thing look tremendous if I buffed it, but I'm not gonna do all that. I'd rather just get this thing back together so I can ride it. Honestly, it turned out great for what it is. Powder coating is the best option. Alright, that's the end of the video, guys. If you liked the video, leave a like, turn on post notifications so you get a notification every time I upload, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.